up, guys? Welcome to my channel. So I decided to make a new channel talking about my Supra. You can see it's sitting right here. I've had this car for a while and I decided it's time to get back into it, start working on it again. I've been neglecting it quite a bit. I just recently bought a side-by-side a couple months ago, and my buddies and I have all built custom roll cages and things for those, so we've been preoccupied with the side-by-sides, you can see as I pulled it out of the garage. So today I was kind of thinking about it, and I've been getting a lot of people asking about this car, so I thought I would start a channel with help you guys that are out there with these Mk3 Supras, the 3rd gen MA70s, 1986.5 to 1992, I believe. As you can see, I've got quite a bit done to mine. All of it that's on this car, every piece on this car has been custom fabricated. So I've bought some things and I've had to either change them up a little bit to get them to fit the vehicle, or I've had to get parts from other vehicles and make it so they fit onto this car. So I'll dive into that a little bit more today, talk a little bit more about kind of what I've got going on. This is gonna be a couple part series to just start off the channel so you guys have a better idea of what you're watching, and we'll kind of go from there. So very brief overview on this car. So this is a 1988 Mk3 Supra. So it's got some dings. You can see there the fender's been hit. It's got some issues. So I decided that I wanted to start getting back into it and fix a bunch of the stuff that's on this car already. So you can see the hood. I've had some serious issues with the paint, mostly because how much heat is coming off this engine, and I do not have heat shielding on the bottom of it. So I want to just get in and start fixing stuff. I've had a lot of people asking me about this car. It turns a lot of heads. I have a lot of people that'll stop me and ask to take pictures of it, take videos of it. They want to show their friends. They want to show family members that have once upon a time had one of these cars or have always wanted one of these cars. So it's pretty cool. This car has been in my entire life. So my dad purchased this car brand new from Mark Miller Toyota here in Salt Lake, and passed the car along to me, and I decided to just go with it and start building it the way I wanted it to be built and the way Supras, in my opinion, should be. This by no means is some 1,000 horsepower built car. I mean, I'm not looking to drift it. I'm not looking to drag race it. I'm not looking to, you know, beat the crap out of it. I'm just looking to have fun with this car. I want it to be drivable, fun, enjoyable. Like I said, I want it to turn some heads on the street, and I want people to enjoy it just as much as I do. I'll pretty much talk about the motor today, and then I'll do another part about kind of the rest of what's going on. So as you can see, this is a 7M. It is a GET. So this is originally a 7M GE, the naturally aspirated motor, and I've obviously gone through and I've done some different things to it, and obviously I've added a turbo to it. So as you can see, some of the subtle differences between the 7M GE and the 7M GTE, kind of one of the biggest things you'll notice is the distributor. I've kept that. I don't have any reason to go to the cam position sensor and to do different ignition timing and all that kind of stuff. I have the ability to do it. I am running a standalone ECU on this car. It runs just fine on this. I should be able to get the horsepower numbers that I want with running just a mechanical distributor. So that's one of the subtle differences here. And pretty much the only other difference that you're not obviously going to see because the motor's in here, but 7M GE versus the GTE has oil squirters. The oil squirters are down on the crank. They'll squirt oil onto the bottoms of the pistons and keep them cool so they don't have any overheating issues. This motor's built. So the bottom end on this motor has been built by a local company called Pro Machine. They're located here in Murray, which is just south of Salt Lake. So full bottom end built on it. It's got Wiseco 84mm pistons, Eagle H-beam rods, ARP hardware. The rods have all been heat treated. A lot of you guys are probably like, oh yeah, it's a 7M. Yeah, I know. The head gasket's already been done, and it's already got ARP head studs. So that's one of the big common failure points for these motors. It's been done. So I put the ARPs in a while back. It's got a Cometic head gasket, multi-layer metal head gasket. I haven't had one issue. So at one point I was running, not on this turbo, but on a different turbo setup, I was running close to 25 pounds of boost and never had one issue. I did end up spinning a bearing on it, just because I was being dumb and over revving it. So I did spin a bearing and had to have the motor go back in and kind of touched up. After I got the motor touched up, they basically went in and just checked the cylinder walls, checked the crank, all that stuff, and it was good to go. So I did some ALC bearings on it, and like I said, I decided to go with ARP hardware for the main cap bolts, and so I shouldn't have any issues now. So intake manifold, that's the first thing people ask me about. 7M GTEs, 7M GEs, all there's the factory manifolds. They run up and over the motor, kind of like a 2JZ GE. You can see kind of the spacing right there. That's where the manifold comes over. We went in and we actually put pieces of aluminum to cover that section up right there, so you almost can't even see it. My buddy went in there and welded it, and then I smoothed it out, and you can't even see it. So I'm gonna take those off and probably get them powder coated here soon. I'm just waiting to get this other one done over here. So that'll have a plate welded over it as well, so they'll both be matching. They'll look kind of like a 2JZ cover. So going back to the manifold, this is an XS Power Sport plenum. And so this is made for a 2JZ GE. I think when I bought this one, it's specifically for the IS300 that's got the 2JZ GE, the American version. So what we did is we took the plenum and we cut all the ports off of it. I took 7M runners, the lower runners, and we welded it to this, and then we went in and imported everything. So it's got good flow, no issues there. So you can see they've all been kind of just welded on, and it fits perfect. We kind of just trialed and errored it. I was like, I didn't know if it was going to work, but you can see how close it sits to that brake booster. It fits just fine. So we went on and we welded that plate on there so I could put the vacuum stuff for the brake booster on there. And yeah, I haven't had any issues with it. So it's got good throttle response. I put a 90mm billet throttle body on there. It's pretty awesome. I haven't felt really any hiccup issues or anything with that. I'm running the stock Toyota throttle position sensor, no issues there. I did have an issue here. So this is a flange that came with the 90mm throttle body. I put a gasket in here, and with the boost that I'm running, it kept blowing the gasket out. So we ended up just welding the flange right to the front of this flange, and then we put a gasket in here, and then I ended up running smaller ARP bolts, and that seemed to fix the issue. So no vacuum leaks now, and it's been pretty awesome. The cable, if you guys are curious, if you're wanting to do anything like this cable here bolts in to the factory location, no custom anything. That's for a 1999 Toyota Camry. If you can find them. I had a hard time finding this cable, but it's the right length. I believe it's the same cable that you use on a 1JZ GE, or 1JZ GTE for this car, because the length is the right length and the right cable. So I ended up just using the same one. It fits perfect in there. I had to modify the wheel a little bit, put a zip tie on there because it kept popping out of there. But other than that, everything fits in pretty good. I just made an L bracket here to hold the tension on there. Runs through, firewall, and right to the factory pedal. So with no issues. I think you have to remove like one plate, and I think that's it. Actually, the plate's right here. You have to remove this plate right here when it comes with it. So you just take that off, basically throw it in the garbage, or use it to hold motorcycle parts. And yeah, so that fits in there just fine. Like I said, it's about a 4-inch throttle body, and then it goes into my 2.5-inch intake pipe, 2.5-inch intercooler piping. I'm running an HKS SSQV, the old generation blow-off valve. Thing's perfect, it works great. I do have a tile Q50 that I will probably be using right here. It's got all the flange and everything, it's ready to go. I just haven't put it on yet because I've been having vacuum leaks, and since this car is still running the stock mass airflow sensor, it doesn't love it. This one doesn't leak, so I just kept it on there. But anyways, so yeah, that's pretty much it with the intake manifold. Underneath, you can't see any of it, but I've kind of tucked a lot of this stuff. Let me see if I can get some better light. It's kind of hard to see, but up underneath here, that's the ignition coil stuff, and then up underneath is the idle air control valve. So there's a flange on the back side of this. You can't see it. I've tucked everything inside there so you can't see it, and that works great. So it just bolts basically right in the middle of this whole thing. It's basically sitting about right here, but on the bottom side of it, and it seems to work just fine. So everything on here, like I said before, is custom made. So intercooler piping is all stainless steel. I could go with aluminum. I just don't have any way to weld it. I don't have a TIG welder yet to weld all the aluminum piping, so I just went with the stainless steel, and then I just had it powder coated, and it turned out pretty good. So intercooler on here is pretty small. I'm not running tons of boosts, so I'm not planning on running some gigantic Mark IV Supra intercooler. I just don't feel like I need to. But yeah, so this is a Go Auto Works custom built intercooler. I just sent them in the dimensions that I needed, and they got it welded up for me. Pretty good quality. I haven't had any issues with it at all. Pretty awesome. So, intercooler piping, it's kind of hard to see, but it goes up underneath here, tucks back around the frame rails, comes up through here, and then to the turbo. So it's all underneath all the power steering lines right here. This turbo manifold is all custom built as well. It's all TIG welded. I got all this stuff from Treadstone Performance. They had all the weld L's. So you can see that I've done the 4 T's and the 2 90s. You can see it back there a little bit. Sorry, my lighting's not the best, but and then we just TIG welded it all together. Used a 7M GE, 7M GTE exhaust flange. It's the same thing, nothing different between the two. And then it's all been ported to match the ports on the head, so that I don't have any flow issues. I am running a T3. A lot of people were like, oh, you need to run T4 to get the boost you need. It's been fine. Like I said, I'm not looking to run 1,000 horsepower. I don't need to put a T4 big gigantic turbo on here. I just want to enjoy driving it. So T3, it's also running a 38 millimeter open dumped wastegate, just a tile 38. I might have boost creep issues coming up in the future, so I may be changing that to a 44 millimeter. Right now it's set at 10 PSI, and it just does what it needs to do. I haven't had any issues with it. Like I said, I'm still running the mass airflow sensor, which is a vane style, so it's got a flopper inside of it, and it's very temperamental. It hates any type of vacuum leak. It hates any of that kind of stuff, so I am ready to get rid of it. I have gone in, and it now has a intake air temp sensor there. I am running an ECU Masters Classic. You know, everyone's like, you gotta run the black. The Classic's cost effective, cost efficient, so I got that one. I paid like $800 for the whole setup with the plug and play setup and the piggyback, I guess is what I'm looking for, is the piggyback to match up to the wiring harness on here, and it plugs in perfect, so no issues there. So I'm running just a off-brand catch can. I've made all the lines on here, so all these lines for the turbo or the nitrous stuff, I've made all those. I made all the fuel lines, the oil lines for the turbo inlet and the return, and yeah, intercooler, or sorry, the radiator pipe, I made that as well. Just a stainless steel J tube that works just fine. Off-brand radiator, I haven't had any issues with it. I had an issue with the factory radiator, and so I replaced it with the bigger aluminum one and haven't had any issues since. So, but yeah, for fueling, I'm going to be running Fuel Injector Clinic 1000cc injectors. I've already gone and done all the wiring for it. I'm just running right now the FIC 550s, just so I can drive the car around. I just finished the break-in period on this motor. That's why I'm running the 550s. I want to get it close enough to the factory injectors, which are 440s. And on the 7MGE, they're like 260s or something. Somewhere around there, I could be wrong, but they're small. So it's set up. It's ready for the 1000cc injectors. I'm running a SARD fuel pressure regulator. And then the ECU Masters will be able to run fuel pressure at real time with that sensor there. That's just an AEM fuel pressure sensor that was pretty easy to install. I just put a 90-degree fitting on there that comes off that, and then it's all wired into the ECU. So overall, motor looks pretty dang good, pretty happy with it. Needs to be cleaned up a little bit. I need to just get rid of some of the wiring. Obviously, when I get it all tuned, all this stuff will be gone because I'll be running kind of like a speed density setup. So all this stuff will be gone, and I'll be reading the intake air temp sensor and the map sensor that's built into the ECU. It runs pretty good. I'm actually surprised. It's on the factory ECU right now, and I really have had no issues. Like, it comes on boost just fine. It's not running lean. I've got an AEM wideband on there that I can read. It actually runs really rich, so obviously it has a hard time with the sensor up there kind of managing the fuel, but that's fine. I just want to drive it to break it in, and then once that's all done, well, it's done now, but when I take it in to get it tuned, all that stuff will be gone. The factory ECU will be gone, and I'll be running that full standalone ECU, which will be super awesome. I know it's kind of like more of a talking video, and I don't really love those either, but sometimes you just got to talk and tell people what you got, what's going on with the motor and stuff here. But if you guys have any more questions or anything, please feel free to hit me up, and I am more than happy to comment back if you want to private message me or whatever. If you're working on a motor like this and you have no idea what you're doing or you can't troubleshoot something, I've been through this motor like 4 times now. I think this is on its 4th build, just because I was running factory stuff. The motor's old. I mean, this is a 34-year-old car. The seals on the valve, or the valves were going out, so I replaced all those on the head with just factory stuff, and that went out. Doing the sills on the pistons, and those went out, and then I decided to do the build on it. So it's just been back and forth. So I've been in this motor, around this motor quite a bit now. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to hit me up. Like I said, this is a new channel, so I'm not expecting anything crazy right off the bat, but if you guys wouldn't mind giving me a little subscribe and a follow and a like and a comment, and let me know what you guys think about this channel and what you think about my motor. Anyways, yeah, I apologize for the talking, but at least you guys have a better idea of what's going on with this car. And if you guys do want to see anything, like I've gone through this entire car. Nothing on this car is stock anymore. Quick overview of inside the vehicle. You guys can see it's got a roll cage. I've flocked the dash. I've done a bunch of stuff to it. I'm getting ready to do a new carpet kit as well. I want to get rid of the red. I wanted to get rid of the red maroon carpet that comes in these cars. But yeah, so full custom roll cage. If you guys can tell, this was not factory on my car. It is a factory spoiler, but my car did not come with that. So it now has the turbo model spoiler, the 3-piece, and it also has the turbo model taillights. Also did not come factory that way. So it comes with the 2-piece taillights, where this is now the full piece. So, and then you can see my nitrous bottle in there, and I'll talk more about that. The nitrous isn't plumbed in yet, and I'm not going to be running fast and the furious amounts of nitrous. I'm just running it to have fun with it. If I end up running into tuning issues with the nitrous, I will just take it out. I'm not like looking to get ridiculous amounts of power out of this car. I just want to have fun with it. So like, comment, subscribe if you guys want to see more of this stuff. If you don't like, comment, subscribe, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I'll get over it eventually. But yeah, if you guys do want to see more, please give me a follow, subscribe, and I will definitely post more videos. If I don't get any followers, if I don't get any subscribers, then I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna do my own thing, and we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, if you guys are trying to work on these cars, I understand that the value of these cars have gone up like 3 times. I did have a person tell me, I actually ran into on the street when I was driving this car, and they said they've been trying to buy a Mk3 Supra, and the cheapest one they could find, not even close to the condition of this one, which is by no means in great condition. They were looking upwards of $25,000 to $30,000 for a car that's 35 years old with like 200,000 miles. So I've decided to start getting things done on this car and get it to where it should be, where it deserves to be. So yeah, hopefully you guys want to follow me along with the process, and yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.